Hey, y'all, social media, propaganda, censorship. Let's find out. Let's get ready to rumble. Hey, y'all. So they came for us. Our personal accounts.
Yeah. You know, we've run Cold Dead Hands for, what, almost 9 years now?
Yeah.
And they tried to shut us down once back in that was 2016, 2017?
16 left this attack. We were told that specifically by the director
of global politics
at Facebook, but I won't mention their name.
Yeah. Now, just the very thought that Facebook has a director of global politics. I mean, that's a title that just is very ominous in and of itself.
Yeah, back when Facebook, although never gave much instructions, they never really gave much criticism. But for some reason, the director of global politics called me on the July 4th weekend from a ranch on vacation
with family
to tell me they were really sorry and they would take care of it right away. Back when we were like, 500,000 likes, maybe 200,000 likes.
I think in 2016 we were approaching 1 million.
I don't think so because, 2016 was the year of Trump's election.
Yeah.
And I think that, I think that the week of that election, if my memory serves, and I know it does because I've always thought this was pretty incredulous of any social media platform. So I will say 500,000 followers at that time. Reached 160 million people the week of Trump's election in 2016. 160 million people saw a post and interacted with that post the week of Trump's election in 2016. 160 million people, that was more than the voting.
Yep.
Those registered to vote that actually voted, that was more than the amount of people that voted.
Now, that's global, mind you. That's not just in the United States, but still, 160-ish.
Yeah. But the reality is, globally, we don't really affect that many countries.
I mean, we have some fans abroad. We got a lot of Australian and Canadian fans,
or enemies, or instigators, arguers.
All of the above.
All of the above. But you know, the week of the 2020 elections.
Oh yeah.
Now, same candidate on the conservative side, on the Republican side, as it was in 2016. But Sleepy Joe Biden, he was going against Hillary Clinton in 2016. and as much as I dislike her, she's a much better candidate for the Democrats than Joe Biden could ever hope to represent.
And definitely had a much stronger political machine at her beck and call.
Absolutely. And yet, what was our reach in the 2020 elections for the week?
2 million?
2 million, 3 million. But they're going to tell you that our fans at Cold Dead Hands didn't want to see our posts anymore. That's what Facebook has said to us.
Now bear in mind, in 2016, we had 500,000 fans.
Ish, yeah.
I mean, and reached 160 million. 2020, we have almost 2.5 million fans and didn't even reach 2 million people.
2 million 3 million, somewhere in those neighborhoods. Come on.
And
It's all because y'all don't want to watch or read what we're doing. Obviously, YouTube didn't like what we were doing because they took down a page that had, I don't know what, 100,000 subscribers? Like that? No warning, no nothing. Just went there one day and it was gone.
yeah, kind
And
of
we
like what happened to our personal Facebook pages.
Over 11 years. Yeah. But hey, I get it. Did I ever think that they would come for my personal? Considering I had never violated anything on the personal, it didn't even dawn on me that they would do that. Did I think that they would do that and take out all of the other? Yeah, I always thought about those things. I'm sure we all did. But to take out my personal, John's personal, and 2 other associated accounts, administrators, admins, that actually had nothing to do with posting.
Yeah, one was a graphics guy who posted our banners and our profile pictures, and the other one was an admin who hasn't even been active on the page for over a year.
Well over a year. So, guilt by association?
But yet, our page is still there.
Yeah, Cold Dead Hands is still there.
I mean, it's almost like taking down a page with 2.5 million followers might get some negative attention.
Yeah.
But taking out the admins,
It's kind of like gun control by making ammunition scarce.
Yeah.
That's what it reminds me of. Oh, well, we're not going to ban the guns, but y'all ain't going to find any more ammunition. I don't know. That one might require the tinfoil Stetson.
because I do know for a fact that the Second Amendment says arms. Mm-hmm. Arms is short for armaments, and armaments includes ammunition.
Yeah. You know, as far as I'm concerned, it always has.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's literally the textbook definition.
You know, so, yeah, I mean, and we moved to other platforms. We're on Parler.
We're on Parler if it ever comes back.
Well, okay. It hasn't came back yet, so that's true. We're on MeWe.
Yeah.
So you can find us on MeWe. Look for the lava background of Cold Dead Hands. That's our page. We got a group there. John's there on a personal writing his stuff. I'm there writing my stuff. So, I mean, we can build that platform. That's fine.
Until Apple or Google or Facebook and Twitter and everybody gang up on them to take them out like they took out Parler.
I mean, they took John's author page.
Yep.
They took my author page. Well, actually, my author page is still there, but they took my Black Coffee Perspectives. I mean, it's just a bunch of random...
Yeah, they nuked our Cold Dead Hands Instagram account.
Yep.
That's attached to our Facebook page.
That's still up.
That's still up. So there's a lot of
shady dealings behind the scenes as far as I'm concerned.
A lot of inconsistencies, kind of like the last election.
Yeah.
Oh, did I say that out loud? Do I need the hat?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of inconsistencies, and we've already talked about the election.
Oh, yeah.
And how it had absolutely destroyed every statistician's factual background, all their numbers, everything that they said, hey, this is what you can see in this election, this is what's going to happen. People who have prognosticated elections for years, their numbers were completely off.
And not even the prognosticators, it was also what they call the non-polling indicators, which over the years have been 100% accurate, each and every one of them.
You can only overcome that by cheating. I'm just going to say it the way it is. You're only going to overcome the statistics if you're cheating.
But that's not what this is about.
No.
You know, we got nuked on Facebook.
Yep.
And we're kind of pissed.
Yeah, you could probably say that.
But it's really just a symptom of a much greater issue.
Yes, it is.
Now, we've known for some time that they would be coming for us eventually.
I just assumed it would be the page.
It's like the old, what was that, a poem? first they came for, but I wasn't, yada, yada, yada. And there's been several variations of it. First they came for, the QAnons, and then they came for the militia pages. And now they've come for us.
We don't know what's going to happen. Obviously, there are news sources out there that's telling us all kinds of things that's going to happen. And then there's other news sources out there that are telling us things that are going to happen. And at the end of the day, the only person that I know that knows what's going to happen is my Christ. That's it. So I got to put it in his hands and keep marching forward, because that's what we do as Christians and followers of the one true way, the one true master, Jesus Christ, as we keep moving forward. So that's what I'm going to do. With my lamp shining brightly as I wait on my master, I'm going to keep marching forward. And yes, they drew first blood. And that's all I have to say. Because I don't care how big you are, I will chop you down. And if I have to work the rest of my life to start chopping, yeah, I'll start chopping.
Break out the sling, David and Goliath.
Not to mention, my God's got a big axe. I said axe. Listen, guys, we are mad. We're upset. We're frustrated. We've spent, I know, it's just Facebook. It's just social media. Listen, if y'all understood just how much time we have devoted to bringing the truths to light about our founders, their association with the one true master Christ, and how they created this government that was self-governing.
And it's not just even the time investment. I mean, we have a business. We have an online store. store.colddeadhands.us.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. But that's what finances what we do. That's what gives us the ability to make these videos, to devote our time to doing research and writing and advocating and educating. And when they pulled our personal accounts, they pulled our access to our business manager on Facebook.
Advertising accounts.
Our advertising accounts on Facebook. So now our business no longer exists on Facebook.
And it is what it is.
And it wasn't just our business. Like you said, one of the people that got caught up in the crossfire,
His business
our
got
graphics
caught up.
guy, he does graphics for a lot of different people. He plays in a band. He's got band pages and this. Everything that he did
gone
was Facebook Central.
And absolutely no way to argue it, no way to ask why, no way to get a review, because it's unreviewable.
Yep. No appeal, unable to reverse.
We did it that way, and I'm going to go into a little story, I hope to keep it short, of why. When I was starting all of this, and John came along, we didn't have a business yet. And we discussed nonprofit, 501c4, 501c3. We could have went that route. Absolutely, unequivocally, we could have went that route, sold a lot of stuff, and everything that we've accumulated over that time would have been a tax write-off. Every stitch, the properties, everything that we've accumulated, we could have wrote off, because that's what we've done. All kinds of people have nonprofits and sell products all day long. It's only a status that the government will recognize and let you write off everything.
And let people just give you money and
just to give it to you.
Write it off of their taxes.
Absolutely.
But there are strings attached.
There are a lot of strings attached. And I prayed a lot about it. And I believe that God showed me that you needed to do a for-profit so you could steer clear of the government regulations on 501c4s, which is why we've argued the point over all the other gun advocacies out there, is you don't make money unless the gun control boat is rocking. Mm-hmm. Memberships are down across the board in gun advocacies during the Trump administration because nobody was afraid that Trump was coming for guns.
And now with President-elect Biden, I haven't looked it up, but I would imagine that the NRA and GOA and NAGR and everybody else,
memberships are up. Up. Money's rolling in. Coffers are stuffed.
And that's not to say that we completely disagree with these other groups, but they do have a vested interest in
the boat rocking,
the debate being hot and heavy.
Yep.
Not in rolling back government regulations that are patently unconstitutional, in our opinion.
Right. If they were just a tactical gear reseller, yeah, I get it. Obama sold more guns than any other president ever. I get it.
And I'll be honest, all the riots and everything in 2020 were great for business.
Yep. But I pay every stitch of tax monies and more to the government to sell you a product at a good price.
And
fund all of this.
And be able to keep our voice without having strings attached.
Exactly.
So we can actually bring the truth and not what we're allowed to say as a 501c3, 501c4, XYZ, whatever.
You can't speak out against certain aspects of the government. You can't do it. They'll shut you down and pull your tax status, period.
But, and that's the irony. We set things up the way we did so that we could maintain our voice without government interference. And where does the interference come from and the censorship come from?
High tech. The big three. And I'll tell you, they've got long arms. They can reach into places that other people can't reach. Don't even have a clue how. So, you tell me. You be the judge. You look at it for what you want to look at it for. I know that if you've got a tinfoil hat at home and it's cranked up tight, you agree they're censoring this whole thing. And it's all going to come to fruition. It's 3D chess. I don't know what's going to come to fruition.
But, you know, and we hear it from the libertarian wing all the time. But they're private businesses. They can do what they want. No, actually, they can't.
Well, not to mention that technically they're a public corporation, so they have shareholders, so they're traded. But on top of that, they've already had relief from government regulations, the FCC.
Not to mention Section 230.
Of the SEC code.
Yep.
Or the FCC code.
So,
they were exempted from a lot of the regulations from the FCC. They were given taxpayer dollars to build their platforms as a free speech social media platform, period. So when you're given the opportunity to not be held to certain regulations and you are given federal grants,
and you're given certain
quote,
immunities.
Yes, federal grants, quote unquote, federal grants. The monies came from us, from y'all. That's tax dollars. The government doesn't have any money. We do, and they get it from us. Okay? And then they gave it to Facebook, and they gave it to Twitter, and they gave it to these other high-tech companies to build their platforms without fear of being sued.
And not to mention the fact that they have these huge complexes that they build. Most of them, I would venture to say most of them, if not all of them, are tax exempt in the communities that they build in.
Absolutely. I guarantee you that none of them are paying very much for the properties they own because they had gotten government abatements, whether it's local government abatement on taxes, state government abatement, federal government abatements. They've gotten the abatements, and guess what they did with their monies? Censored. They can say they're not. They can say that you don't want to come and interact with cold dead hands anymore, which kind of breaks my heart since we've been around for so long and all you really have to do is go look at it daily and you'll see it. But because if it's out of sight, out of mind,
If it's not curated in your news feed,
and they're certainly not going to do that, so the only way is to go there and interact. I mean, that's and what did we always want you to do? Come and debate. But what were we told by Facebook management, John?
we should delete and ban any dissenting opinions on our page.
Because they do not want debate. They don't want we, the people, to work out our differences among ourselves.
They want to force us into echo chambers. Now, this is one thing you hear from the left all the time. Well, Parler, it's just an echo chamber for the far right. You know, MeWe, Gab, Wimkin, whatever, other social media comes up that conservatives who are being silenced on Facebook and Twitter go to, well, that's an echo chamber. But yet, the very same people who say that's an echo chamber literally told us, I have screenshots,
Yep.
told us,
And we'll produce them
Yeah.
to the right people.
told us that dissenting opinion drives down your page's relevance.
Yep.
So debate and disagreement, whether it's cordial
Or non.
or heated,
Yep.
that drives down your page relevance, and fewer people will see you if you actually engage with differing opinions. You can only preach to the choir.
Because they want a kinder and gentler kind of social media platform. I'm sorry. Our world isn't kinder and gentler. And if you think it is or you think it could be, you are sadly mistaken as you walk along single file to the greener pasture they're selling you that was built on a city dump that has raw sewage making it greener.
I was going to say, typically the greener pasture is only greener because it's full of manure.
When the gate slams shut and you finally realize that was AstroTurf, it's too late. It's too late. You can't have a conversation on Facebook because, the big bad bullies, they buoy me. Get over yourself. Learn how to deal with it. Walk away.
Suck it up, Buttercup.
Walk away. You can hit the ban block buttons. You don't have to, but you're just like a dog returning to their puke. You gotta have it. That's why if it bleeds, it leads in the mainstream media because you want to see it. All raw and just like it is until somebody's pointing that finger at you and you're like, oh my God, you're taking it out on me.
You remember the Faces of Death videos?
Yeah,
You know how many volumes of that they made?
absolutely. And they were cool. And you can't even find them anymore.
But that's human nature.
It
And
is.
that's obviously the dark side of human nature.
Trust me, I worked as a firefighter EMT for a long time. I know how we had to keep people at bay because they wanted to see the goriness inside that wreck. Trust me, you didn't want to see it.
And you see it every time you're driving down the highway and traffic's backed up and you get to where you see the flashy lights and everybody's slowing down to look, and then as soon as you're past it, it's not because they had the lanes blocked. It's because everybody was slowing down to rubberneck.
Yep. I mean,
So,
I've heard-
I mean, we are our own worst enemies.
we are. And
As
we
a
always
race.
have been, where we can be lazy and complacent. It's easy to have somebody tell you what they expect of your job and just go do it. That's why there's not near as many small business owners as there are employees. Because it's easier to be an employee and take a paycheck and do what you're told than it is to think outside the box and try and figure out what you're supposed to do. It's easier to work 8 hours a day and make less money than it is to work 15, 18, sometimes even longer than that, and not even sure what you're going to get the next day.
Because your employees get paid before you do.
Exactly. So these are the problems that we have to address. This whole kinder, gentler kind of censoring,
It's propaganda.
it is propaganda. There is no utopia. They're going to try and sell it to you. They're going to try and sell a utopian ideal to you. I'm going to say it. They're going to try and sell global socialism.
Well, that's what the Great Reset is all about. Although they call it a reset of capitalism, that's a euphemism for...
Wipe out all country debt. Not our debts. Good Lord, they couldn't wipe out our debts in that reset.
They're going to reset capitalism to socialism. That's exactly what it means.
Capitalism 2.0 is going to be the old socialism, communism, fascism. And I know it sounds like I need to put that Stetson on and wear it proud. But I'm telling you, there really is no other alternative to that.
And it's funny because there's tons of information out there on this very subject. But people have become so accustomed to having everything spoon-fed right into their news feed.
Yep.
They don't even bother. People get their news from Facebook.
Yeah.
You know, watching the impeachment hearings the other day, somebody was talking about the election of 1800. John Adams and Thomas Jefferson. And I went and looked it up, and that was a bloody, vicious. I mean, back then they had newspapers on both sides. You had the Federalist newspapers and you had the Republican newspapers. And people literally had to go read all of them, filter out the rhetoric, and try to find the kernels of truth that they could base their vote on.
They got to figure that out.
And they didn't have it figured out for them.
Right. That's what you're doing. This kinder and gentler type of social media, I get it. Oh, we got to get rid of Trump. We've got to censor him. I hate him. He's such a bully. He's so mean. The guy who employs more women and minorities than just about any other company out there was willing to sit down and talk about investing millions of dollars in inner city growth and minority businesses to help them grow their inner cities instead of letting them be gentrified. And y'all wanted to just slap them in the face.
Yeah, and most of that was media driven.
And I'm not a Trump fan.
And I'm not talking about the news media. I'm talking about the media in general. News media, social media, entertainment, you know, you name it. It's the narrative was pervasive across all the spectrum.
Absolutely. And listen, guys, neither one of us are huge Trump fans. Of the guy personally, I really don't know anything more than what the media has always told me about him. I've never shook his hand. I don't know him personally. He might be a real jerk.
Yeah.
Likely he is. He's a billionaire.
And he's a New Yorker.
Oftentimes that comes along with the money.
Sorry, I'm married to a Jersey girl. I can get away with saying that.
But the reality is, he was being mean over here so he could do things for us. So he could help end the corruption. Oh, he's corrupt. I've heard that so many times. You know what he isn't? He's not politically corrupt. He might be business corrupt. Grant you that. If you're a billionaire, you likely got it with a little bit of ill-gotten gains. It's likely.
And he probably got it with some political help.
I'm sure he was greasing a lot of freaking palms as a private citizen.
And considering he was a Democrat back in the day, I wonder whose palms he was greasing.
It makes you wonder. It makes you wonder if it's not the same coin, different side.
Well, I mean, it would definitely explain the vitriol from that side of the aisle towards him, because they all know what he knows about them.
Yeah. I mean, if you were on the take and you were taking his money, then you know that he knows you took it. He knows that you're dirty. Now, it might make him dirty by association by giving you money, but he wasn't an employee of We the People when he did it. There's a little bit of difference. It's business ethics. And if you don't get caught, was it really illegal?
It's only illegal if you get caught.
I mean, let's face it, we speed every day. It's illegal.
I never.
But it's only illegal when we get caught and get a ticket, right? And quite frankly, it's a law of man. And every one of those are constrictive, restrictive, and, dare I say, fascist in nature. You got to make the decisions on your own. But what we're experiencing with the social media platforms we've been on sure seems like censorship to me. It really does.
Now, you could say, you're not protected by the First Amendment because that restricts the government. Well, yes, government tyranny is an issue that we should all be paying attention to.
Yes.
But so is corporate tyranny.
Well, it is, especially when you get special exclusions from the laws that other people have to abide by, but you didn't have to because you made a deal.
With the devil.
You made a deal to make a free speech social media platform, and you're not allowing free speech.
In fact, they're actively discouraging it.
Exactly. So, you make up your mind. It's your decisions. It's your thoughts. At the end of the day, you've got to be the critical thinker. We can think for you, but that's the same thing. You've got to make up your minds. You've got to watch this video. You've got to watch another video. You've got to do some reading, and you need to be doing some research because from the grave, our founders told us all these things.
It was just funny because I was reading we posted the president's statement the other day about supposed upcoming demonstrations around the inauguration, and somebody had made the comment, but yet Nancy Pelosi and Maxine Waters and Kamala Harris couldn't basically come out and tell the protesters to keep protesting and rioting and all that. Well, somebody made the comment, well, where'd you hear that? OANN?
Nope. It's all on video.
Right from the horses' mouths.
I didn't say horses.
Or horses' asses?
Well, all of them could be a horse for all I care.
But and I said to the guy, it's on video. If you just have half a mind to go look for it.
Yep. But you don't want to.
Have half a mind to go look for it.
You just want somebody to spoon feed it because it's easier than having to go do it yourself. And, the first 10 or so answers on Google, that ain't going to get you there. You might want to switch to DuckDuckGo and see what they say. That's doing the research. That's looking and investigating deeper.
Yeah, because Google is just as curated as Facebook is.
You got that right.
As a matter of fact, Rumble, which we're going to be posting this video, is suing Google for driving traffic from their videos. You can literally type in the name of a video on Rumble, and if there's a YouTube version of it, it'll send you to the YouTube version of it.
So make up your minds for yourself. Go check it out. I know the people who are watching this video that follows Cold Dead Hands, that's what they're going to say. You're right. We've been saying this all along. We know. We know you have. That's why these videos need to be shared, because it gets it out there to other people who may not know. Other people like the fudders and the butters who, I just need my lever action and my 6-shooter and I'm good to go.
And
I love the lever action.
Yeah.
I love my single action. But I also love my AR.
And there's also, people say, well, I don't have any liberal friends. But you have conservative friends who may have liberal friends.
Absolutely.
So if you share it with everybody in your circle, somebody in your circle is going to have somebody in their circle who probably needs to hear this.
Well, and just like you just said, I don't have any liberal friends. No, but you got conservatives who might be a fudder or a butter, and they need to hear this. They need the truth. They need to do the research. I'm just saying. I don't know what else to tell you, but that's the truth.
You know, our existence on social media, at least on the big social medias, may come to a close rather abruptly.
Absolutely.
Anytime now.
We expect it.
But, you know, we've still got YouTube. We've still got Rumble. So we've still got our voices coming to you right now.
And we're going to be working to revamp our website and create a newsletter for all of those who want to stay in touch with what we're doing, because we're not going to stop. Not until they pry everything
from our cold dead hands.
So you'll be able to check all of that stuff out too, and we appreciate it because that's how it grows. That's how the message gets out there. That's how Grassroots works.
That's how we built it in the first place. It was all organic.
Yep.
Just
Every
word of
bit
mouth,
of it.
sharing, liking, commenting.
160 million people. That was organic reach. There was no paid reach to that. It was organic. It was you guys out there sharing, commenting on our page.
Yeah, the same people that Facebook now says don't want to hear our stuff.
Right. You don't want to
They
hear it
built
anymore.
our stuff.
Can't tell you how many times. I don't know what happened to y'all. I ain't seen you in weeks. I ain't seen you in months. I ain't seen you in years. And suddenly I see you. Because somebody shared it in their group. And they saw it. Out of sight, out of mind. Listen, guys. At the end of the day, you have to be the decision makers in it all. You have to decide who's giving you what information and is it good or is it bad. Right now is a tough time because you're hearing it from so many different angles. It could be a tinfoil conspiracy angle. It could be a far leftist angle. It could be right straight down the middle. Wait a second, it's probably not straight down the middle because I don't think there's anything straight down the middle anymore.
The middle no longer exists.
Yeah, the middle needs to shift far, far, far to get even close to the middle anymore. So you take that for what it's worth and understand that we're doing everything we can from our angle, but it's going to take a lot of help from y'all. It really is. Just remember, folks, if you want peace,
Prepare for war.
later.